when I say picture Ming the Merciless, that's not the one. Not that one either. No. Okay, that one. Hey toy fans, so I'm here. I actually have got a bit of a retro review, some old Playmates toys. So what I picked up, and I've got a whole run of these coming in, so I've got a few more down the road, but I got Ming the Merciless. So what's cool about him this time is he's got a bit of a like a goblin look about him. And then I also picked up Ming's Jaws of Death Throne. So instead of getting a vehicle in this line, they had the Command Center of Evil. So apparently this entire chair is a command center. So hopefully these will pan out and it'll be worth it. Because I know as I try to watch cartoon, it's hard. It's really hard. So hopefully these toys will be much better than it. So what do you say? Let's get into it. So this is Ming the Merciless inside the package. And one of the things that I thought was really cool about this particular line is I love the addition of all the lightning bolts that really ties back into the Flash Gordon franchise. And it really reminds me a lot of the 80s movie of Flash Gordon. And I'm a huge fan of that movie. And just the motif of manga with the lightning bolts, the clashing red and oranges and really warm colors against that black background really harkens back to what we got previously with Flash Gordon before in the past. So this is kind of like a normal roaming motif that they have. This time with Ming the Merciless versus other ones that we've had in the past is this time we get more of a reptilian Ming the Merciless. And what I dig about him and his look is he almost has a very goblin-esque sort of look that makes him look very, very evil. Almost like he's like an uber goblin, or even like the Green Goblin in some ways. And even some of the colors seem to kind of pair up and mimic that of some of the Marvel Comics goblins that we've had before in the past. Of course, this time, whenever we have our bios, and Playmates is really good about having bios as well as cross-cell art, but what I dig about their bios this time is if it's a bad guy, the file's going to be from the Flash Gordon crew. If it's from good guy, the file's going to be from Ming the Merciless and his Imperium troops. So I like that they have this kind of pairing between the two teams to find out like what each team feels about the other. Some blurbs on the front about what they do. So he's got, you know, the rocket sled and his scepter, and then of course his hood. And with the cross-cell art in this, we're seeing that we are getting 8 figures in this first line, which is really cool. One thing that they're not showing on that cross-cell art is they're not showing the vehicles and or playset pieces that come in the line. And with that, you know, we do have 3 pieces that come in the line, that 2 are vehicles and 1 is kind of a playset piece, which we're going to look at today with Ming, because they kind of go hand in hand. So let's go ahead and take a look at the box art for the Ming's Jaws of Death Throne. And this is Ming's Jaws of Death Throne. Now, I must admit, very much in Playmates sort of fashion, they've got that carried motif again with the red lightning bolts, the bright kind of yellowish, orangey yellow packaging, the star field behind the Flash Gordon, and you know, their Playmates emblem. So everything is kind of a nice red, yellow, black sort of feel to it, which again goes back to that idea of how Mingo was in the Flash Gordon movie. But with this one, we're actually getting to see that Ming himself carries a darker motif, you know, the purples, greens, blues, and silvers, and touches of gold. So it's a very different look than what we've had in the past for Ming the Merciless. Well, let me rephrase that. It's a very different look than what we've had in the past based from the movie. But we have seen Ming in these colors before. When we had him in Defenders of the Earth, he did carry some of that purple motif with some of the golds and reds and blacks and silver. So we've seen some of these colors before, and this is a nice culmination of those colors together. So this is a little bit different Ming than what we've had in the past, but I think it works in this situation. Now, with his throne, it does have this play feature. It's one of those that this is a set piece. It's not like a vehicle. So we've got 2 vehicles that are both part of Team Flash, but with this one, we get a set piece, and this set piece is Ming's throne. Now the idea is that you set Ming into the chair, And he has 2 orbs, power orbs that light up. And then there's a button in the back that shines in the back of his head, making his eyes light up as well. And I can't wait to check this out. But other than that, there doesn't seem to be any other articulation about this. It just has that one simple play feature. But I think this will be a nice display piece to really capture the evil that is Ming the Merciless. Now, besides for the package of Ming and besides for the box, nothing else is going to tell us anything else about this toy. We need to open them up and see what's inside. And this, of course, is Ming the Merciless outside of his packaging. And I have him kind of set up with everything that comes with him. And I will go ahead and say he does actually break my friend Jeff's rule. And the reason why is because with that one hand being closed into a fist, and it's very stylized, he has no way to hold his Imperium scanner. So he does come with the Imperium scanner, his scepter, a cape, and his air sled. He fits his air sled okay, and he holds his scepter really well, but then that scanner can go nowhere. And I looked all over the body just to check. Maybe there's a place to put it on his belt or something to peg in, and no, and no. It's the case on every single one of these. Now let's check out the throne real quick. This, of course, is Ming's Jaws of Death throne, the command center of evil. And it looks the part of being very evil. It's a giant snake head. It's a giant snake head that's built into a chair. And it looks really cool. I'm looking on this and I like the detail work in it. There are some problems I've had with this chair. One of which is, if you notice, the lights on it haven't gone off. And that's with a fresh, brand new set of batteries. The idea is that you're supposed to be able to set Ming into the chair and the lights turn on. However, with mine, I believe that they have the connection backwards so that as Ming sits in the chair, it finally turns off. Now, all in all, I would say that this looked pretty cool, but I really want to see how they work together. Now, I will go ahead and let's take a look at Ming first. With Ming, the things that we have to keep in mind is that this hand is closed, so it's not actually going to hold anything. And as you're articulating the hand back, it gets in the way of the cape, doesn't go back any further. So it's constantly like he's walking around, about to punch someone in the gut. And that's an ongoing thing. The other arm goes back pretty good distance, so it's not too bad. We've got this scepter, and the scepter is made out of several parts, but it doesn't actually come apart. It's just one kind of gummy plastic piece. And then, of course, with him, you've got this cape. Okay, let's take a look at this cape. The cape itself has some very beautiful dynamic fold work in it, but it's pretty rigid. It's not budging at all, so it doesn't allow for anything to, I guess, move it just a little bit, which is kind of unfortunate because that hand, if it were to go back a little bit further or have this part of the cape go back a little bit further, it would stand for that hand to not be kind of in gut punching position. Other thing to have to keep in mind is with the cape, let's see if I can get a good picture of there. These pegs, they're starting to wear down because pulling the cape on and off and it being so rigid, it's starting to break. So that's something that, already just out of the case and starting to break, that's got me concerned. Now he does come with the air sled, and the air sled's kind of a shining point for these. Initially, when I thought that we were going to have these, I thought it was going to be, hollow on this end, and it was going to be cheaply made. But these are not cheaply made. This seems to be where most of the priority went, were the air sleds. If I remember, the air sleds, I believe, have some featuring in the cartoon itself. So that's something to keep in mind. And then, of course, that extra accessory he has is the Imperium scanner. And it's a pretty cool looking piece, but it lacks any color. So if those are screens, it doesn't have anything on it. Now, let's look at them with the throne. Now, with the throne, I'm going to go ahead and admit, look, there's seating, it's off, it's on, off, on. It's actually not even supposed to be that way. A couple times where it was just a little iffy there. When he sits on his throne, you can sit him out. Of course, he can't have his cape, Can't have any of that. There's plenty of space, and he just kind of rolls around here and there, and doesn't have like necessarily like a specific spot. Also, the throne itself is a little short, so it causes him to have to push his legs out in order to sit to where he fits the chair correctly. There we go. So he sits with his legs out. I figured something like that, it would have been a little bit taller, so his legs could have tucked down and sat with both feet firmly on the floor, which makes him look more menacing in that way. Because the picture on the box has us seeing him where he is sitting with his feet directly down. Now there's a light in the back that when it's on, it's supposed to have it to where his eyes glow. It's not very effective. He has an empty spot here where the light shines on it and makes his eyes glow. Well, when this shines, it's supposed to shine up through here and into the back of his head to make his eyes glow, and the two Dyna crystals glow here as well. The sculpt is nice, the coloring is nice, the overall design and look of it is very nice. But those subtle things of having like the really hard plastic cape, that closed fist not having articulation within the wrist itself, the chair being too short and the legs having to kick out, the rewiring of the chair itself, all of these are kind of like some downfalls for me. But I'm not sure he's the Ming we're necessarily looking for. Okay, now that's the review. That I don't really feel that the line was to the best of Playmates' abilities. Now keep in mind, this is after we're dealing with Star Trek. And when you think about the Star Trek toys that they had, they were highly articulated. This in comparison to those, night and day. Do I think it's okay? I think it's okay. I will have to say, all in all, I love the look of him and the chair. I think that looks great. But at the same time, again, with that arm, elbow articulation would have gone a long way. Having the wrist rotate would have gone a long way. He's standing, like, I can't imagine sitting at, the chair, looking over everything and just sitting like this all day long. Let's talk cost on this. I got the figure for about $9 on eBay. I've seen this go up towards selling for about $20. On average, I think most of what I've seen, it's about $9, $9 to $10. This thing I ended up getting with another figure for about $18. So that means that this was $9, the other figure was $9. With it being in the shape that it's in, I'm not sure I really got the better end of this stick. I think the $9 I went to the seller might have been better. But I know now, and I have knowledge. So for me, for the two of these together, $2 signs, I'm leaving it at that. Search them out. I'm sure you can find them a lot cheaper down the road, okay? Star-wise, for both of them. Put the two together with all the accessories laying out here in front of the computer because they can't hold anything and there's no spot to put it. I'm going 3 stars for the set combined, okay? Between Ninja Turtles, Star Trek, some of the licenses they've had, this falls more on the lines of like Wildcats. And Wildcats, even though it was kind of a cool line and it had some really good designs, a lot of the figures were over sculpted. They were superposed. The articulation was really hard to move on them. They had parts that broke off easily. The plastic the design of it just didn't function the way it was supposed to. And then the pieces that went with it just didn't function the way they were supposed to. So it almost like some of these toys like Flash Gordon, even though it's a well-known name, the property of the cartoon that we had, it's just not very well known. And I don't think they were willing to put the money that they wanted to into this line to make it shine. Okay, so remember, they're not dolls. They're action figures with partially functioning chairs. Can you see his eyes glowing? I have yet to get that to work. This episode of Tay Ray Gun was sponsored by Marvin Dog Media. To learn more about Marvin Dog Media, visit www.marvindogmedia.com. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below to let YouTube know that you like what I'm making. And be sure to hit that bell notification so you get updates to future content.